Hey everyone, this is Chris from Lords of War, and we're here with a little hobby video for you. I just wanted to cover some basics on how I approach painting with contrast paints. So the first step is priming your miniature. So you can see this guy's already primed. I like to do a two-tone primer. You can kind of see the gray gradient underneath here. And you can see the obviously all the bright tones on top. This is traditionally called a zenithial or zenithal priming. Essentially, you're trying to create light and shadow with your priming steps. So it's really simple. Just rattle can your model, or use your airbrush if you like. I like a sort of like a mid to a mid dark gray as my first step. And then I use Wraithbone. I really love the Wraithbone color. It's that warm white that really helps. Most light sources are warm, so it really adds that warmth to the colors when you're going to put those contrast paints over top. Why do I use gray and not black? It's a very simple reason. Black will not pick up any color from the contrast paints as it is black, and you can't tint black, whereas a gray or a dark gray will still pick up some of the color and look like a shadow. So real simple, gray followed by a Wraithbone rattle can over top. And so just a little tip for when you're doing your zenithial priming, you want to basically spray, have your model, and you want to spray on a sort of like a 90-degree angle, or sorry, 45-degree angle, aiming towards the top of the miniature, working your way around, short bursts, and you may have to go a little bit lower to hit some of the tops of the capes and stuff like that. On bigger miniatures, you kind of have to break that rule, and you kind of have to go towards the feet and stuff to get any color on them. But really try to focus on the higher points on the model where the light will be concentrated, and you'll get like more of a mid dusting and then a low dusting towards the bottom of the model, which will kind of give you a normal environment for that model to be in when you apply your contrast paints. A couple tips about contrast paints, like, and how I work with them. So you can get Citadel's contrast paints, which I really like. There's Express paints from Vallejo, which are very similar to the contrast paints. They just have less colors. I would say they're slightly thinner, but they are very close. And then there's the Speed Paint range from Army Painter. Those are much thinner, much a bit more like a wash. They're a little more forgiving, but you also get a little less control with them as well. So all three are good products. You can use any of them. They kind of give you a similar result. You're basically tinting or staining your model, whatever you want to call it. Brushes. Highly recommend not using any of your organic or natural hair brushes. The thing with the contrast paints is they are very pigmented and they will stain the heck out of your regular brushes. So I would highly recommend using synthetics. So you can get some good synthetics from DaVinci, their Nova series, or Green Stuff World has their Green series. We sell these both in shop. You can get them off our website. And yes, just like organic hair brushes, synthetic brushes come in all sorts of shapes and sizes and quality levels. You can get some pretty junk ones at the art store and the dollar store, or you can get some really good ones, and they're still not that expensive, but they make a big difference and they last longer. So I'm a huge proponent of investing in good quality tools. If you're going to paint your models, you spend a lot of money on your models, you want them to look good, right? So we're ready to apply some contrast paint. So real simple. Obviously, you see I've already applied a little bit of contrast paint to this guy, but let's just, for argument's sake, do a little bit more. You'll see in a future video, I'm going to be showing some non-metallic metal painting with contrast paint. So I'm going to apply a little bit more of the snakebite leather here. So just be careful. You want to keep it open. You notice I don't have a wet palette. The thing with contrast paints is you actually want to use them pure most of the time when you're painting them on for sort of like a maximum tinting effect. You can play with the ratios of this. Like if you want a much more subtler tone, you could thin it with their contrast medium, or even with some other painting medium or flow improver, something like that. But it will reduce sort of like your overall effect. So I'm just going to apply, just like when you're applying shades and washes, you really want to have like a good amount of, healthy amount on your brush. And then you're going to move it around the miniature. So you're going to basically push it around like that. You don't want too much pooling on any flat surface. And you want to kind of make sure you're covering all those areas and get a nice result. Now, you obviously have a lot of control here Like the more I spread it, the less of the darker tone I'm going to get. And the more I pool it, the more of the darker tone I'm going to get. So that is something that's going to kind of be in your court right there. But most of the time you don't want these sort of like blobs pooling on the flat surface here. You can see, let's let it actually come back into focus. We want to push those, away into the cracks so that we actually have a natural shadow. So this is the what people refer to as the contrast effect. You have this really nice two-tone. So you can see the yellowish kind of gold color, and then you can see it looks like the cracks have been shaded as well. So here is the essentially other pad here that I've done at a previous time that's already dried. So you can have a really good sense of what it's going to look like when it's dry. So you have nice yellow tone on top, and then you have that really nice shadow in the cracks there, all with one step. And this is why I really like the contrast paints, is they give you that base coat wash look right in one step, and you're ready to, I mean, some people just like to leave it like that. They're pretty happy with how it looks. You can get decent looking models that way. Or you can start doing some highlights. You can edge highlight, you can do some blending, and in future videos we'll show you how to really get the best out of your contrast paints. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.